What is going on, everybody? It's the Saucy Sock here with another video, and we are going to be discussing College Football 26. I know I'm a little late to the party with this one, and in general, I just haven't been posting much on my YouTube, which I do apologize, but hopefully I can get a little better with it as we approach the next college football game, which is coming out in about a month and 8 days as I'm recording this video. But anyways, I just kind of want to give my opinion a little bit on some of these things that I've been reading. Starting off, I really don't care about like the cosmetics side of things. I think it's cool that they could add a bunch of jerseys and coaches and whatnot. I'm not really looking for that right now though. I'm going to be talking more so about the gameplay aspect of College Football 26. I'm going to deliver my opinion on some of these things, and I also want to get y'all's opinion down below in the comment section, whether y'all agree or disagree with me. Obviously, I'm not going to have everyone that thinks exactly like I do, but I do want to hear what y'all think and what y'all would like to see added into the game that you might not have seen so far in the last college football, or anything that you've read about what's going to be in the game in College Football 26. Anyways, moving ahead. But anyways, moving forward, we're gonna go ahead and start off. I got the EA. I'll put a link in the description. That's just the EA page where it talks about College Football 26. So I'm just kind of gonna be going down the list here. Starting off, there's a couple things that really caught my eye, and it's going to be the stunts and twists from the defensive line and the custom zones. So apparently these are two things that are being added to the game. Apparently the custom zones, like I don't know what exactly that it's going to be. It could be a thing where if someone's running like a hurry up offense, you have the ability to set your zone drops in between plays. I could be totally off the mark with that, but I'm really curious to see what that's going to be about. I do like the stunt and twist feature. I don't know how it's going to play out as far as how people are going to be able to maybe throw some glitchy blitzes with that. We'll have to see how well they implement that into the game. And according to the website, there's also going to be improved blocking and coverage logic, which both of those definitely need to be reworked. Let's just call it how it is, y'all. Okay, the blocking in this game is absolutely horrendous. Probably some of the worst I've seen. Now, of course, you could still make it work. It's not like not playable, but there are plenty of times, and I'm sure if you guys have played College Football 25 for more than 2 games, you have experienced situations where you just feel like even when your opponent sends in 3 or 4 players, you have 1 second to make a read because the sheds in this game are a little ridiculous at times. And sometimes, it is realistic for a player to get, or a defensive lineman to get a quick shed, but nonetheless, it's very annoying how often it happens in this game, even when you have highly rated offensive linemen. So that's a good sign. I really hope the blocking gets improved. I really wish with the blocking, with the blitzes this year really being pretty glitchy, such as the mid blitz hover, where someone runs mid blitz and then they take their user hover over the line. It dumbs out your offensive line, and I think it would be a good feature for them to add. Like if you want to ignore a player or ignore a potential blitzer, because there's a lot of times where I'll try to ID certain players and shift my line to block a certain blitz because someone's hovering over the line, and it just doesn't work in this game for whatever reason. Maybe other people have had success with it, but unfortunately I have not. I think it's just silly for someone to be able to hover over the line and just dumb out my offensive lineman. There should be a feature where I should be able to just like ignore the user, or tell my offensive line to ignore the user hovering on the line. Now, maybe they will add that. We'll see. I mean, like I said, they did say improved blocking, so we'll see what kind of feature they give us with that, if any more at all. Maybe they just reworked how the offensive linemen are going to pick up blitzes. We shall see, though. As far as the coverage logic goes, I really hope zone coverage gets improved a little bit. I do like the idea of match, but for the most part, I don't think match is really a huge problem in this game. I mean, I don't run it enough to really have an opinion on it, but I haven't really heard a lot of people saying that like match coverage is broken. Now, obviously, with match coverage, you do have the potential to like have bust in your coverage. I mean, that's just a realistic thing that happens in real life as well. But nonetheless, I don't run match, so I can't really have an opinion on it. I do, however, run a lot of zone, and I'm here to say I was not impressed with the zone coverage this year at all. I just feel like there was a lot of things that could be easily manipulated with zone coverage, and there's just certain times I have hard flats on the field, for example, and I just feel like my hard flat would just do a very poor job in actually doing its job. So I would like to see assignments play a little bit better. Now they do say they are going to improve the zone coverage logic in this game and maybe man coverage. I don't know what they're going to do with man. I feel like man was pretty good in college football 25, especially if you used a good team like Georgia. Man coverage is actually like you can make it pretty deadly. I don't really think they got to touch the man coverage too much, but they definitely got to fix the zone coverage. Now, as far as defense or staying on defense, apparently I read a thing on here as well that defensive players aren't going to be able to get picks unless they are looking at the ball. So, two things with this. I do like it to an extent. I do think that if someone's using a D line and peels off, the defensive lineman shouldn't pick it off if they're facing away from the quarterback. I mean, it's never really made sense to me. Yes, it's a video game. But I've had my moments this year where someone will try to user the D lineman and then they'll drop it back into coverage and get some cheesy pick uh, animation on like a slant or something. And I'm just like, there's just no way any defensive line in real life is doing that. Looking away from the quarterback at that. Now, maybe if you drop your defensive lineman in coverage and they pick it off, that's something I can, get behind. But I just don't think you should be able to pick off a ball as a defensive lineman and not even look at the quarterback. So I like it in that aspect. Now, a couple of things I'm a little worried about with that. Like I said, zone coverage to me wasn't all that impressive. Now, like I said, they did improve zone coverage logic apparently. So we'll see how the AI plays the ball in the air. But it was already hard enough, I feel like, to get picks this year as is. If you have a good user, obviously you can get some. But as far as people throwing into coverage where your AI is, and if you don't have time to click on, your AI was likely not picking it off. I mean, very few times have I had an AI make a big play for me, making an interception. And I really do hope they add a feature. Maybe they do have this added somewhere. I just haven't seen it. But like in Madden, you have the ability to have your AI play the ball in the air, meaning they'll go for the interception rather than swatting it down. Numerous times this year have I played games and I could have had an AI interception and they just choose to swat it down, even though it literally hits them right in the chest. That would drive me crazy. So hopefully, yes, it might be harder to get interceptions because you have to be looking at the ball. But I do hope when the opportunity presents itself for an AI to make an interception, and they're looking at the ball, I really hope they just go for the pick this year and not swat it down. Because in college football 25 especially, it's such an offensive heavy game that you need to be able to capitalize on the opportunities you get. And especially if you're playing a good player, if you get a chance to get an interception and your player just swats it down, I mean, that's just such a blow mentally, and it's frustrating. So we'll see how that plays out. I really don't know much about a lot of the gameplay stuff just because, it's a reveal trailer, so you don't see you see the presentation of the gameplay, but you don't really see the gameplay itself. Moving on here, I did see something. Oh yeah, wear and tear. Apparently, they have an advanced wear and tear system, as quoted on here. It delivers more realism and is now fully customizable to fit your playstyle. Manage fatigue strategically and save your favorite playmakers for key moments with dynamic substitutions that allow you to rotate players in and out on the fly. No pause screen needed. So apparently, it's going to be easier to make subs. I don't know what they mean by advanced wear and tear system, and they say it delivers more realism. I hope they're not making it worse. I wasn't a big fan of one of my starting running backs getting the ball one time and having wear and tear and having -10 speed. So, I mean, I don't mind it in a sense of like the wear and tear goes away quick. But if you're playing a good player and say your quarterback gets hit one time and like all of a sudden he's, red, meaning that he's -15 in every stat category you can think of. I wasn't a big fan of that, especially in a 3-minute game and Road to CFP. So hopefully, if someone does get wear and tear, I hope that maybe it just goes away quicker. I don't know. Like I don't know what it's going to be, but that's what I would like to see. As far as the substitution goes, I mean, I would like to see substitutions be easier to make. I mean, I don't think it was like hard to make subs this year, but I definitely need to see. I've already mentioned this in a previous video, but there's got to be a depth chart that you could set at the main menu and have it save across the board so you don't have to pause every single game you play to make your depth chart. That did get really old this year. Now I'm kind of just like wired to do it, so like I don't even think about it much anymore. But it would be nice, and I feel like people are going to be able to get in more games, instead of having to sit for 30 seconds setting up a depth chart before every single game. Moving on here. This is just cosmetic stuff I'm reading here. Broadcast and commentary couldn't really care less about. Oh, Crossplay Dynasty. Okay, yeah, this is a big one. I'm actually happy to see this one. We're finally going to have Crossplay Dynasty. A lot of the people that watch my stream are on PlayStation, which, by the way, if you aren't checking out my stream, you should. Twitch TV/Saucy Sock with 2Ks. I'll link it down below in the description like I do in every video. Anyways, I'm really excited for Crossplay Dynasty. I think it's going to be a lot of fun this year. I'm really excited to hopefully have a Dynasty some of my viewers and followers on here. It's a feature I feel like should have been added last year in College Football 25. I was really surprised to see that they didn't do it. I just feel like we're in the day and age now where every game I think should have crossplay. Now, cross-platform, I guess I can understand. I mean, I don't want to be playing against PC players in College Football 26 or anything, but Xbox and PlayStation should always be linked together somehow, some way in every video game. So I'm glad they added that. Moving on here, there was another thing I read too about stadium polls. I think I passed it. Sorry, I'm recording this in real time. I'm not like scripting this out and anything and making cuts. Yeah, but stadium polls, apparently, this is a rumor. I don't know how true this is. I've been sent this a couple times by a few different people. I don't know how official it is. But stadium polls could be coming to Road to CFP. Now, this is the first thing I'm going to say about that. This is the main thing that I could look at and be like, they do not need to do this. We do not need to have stadium polls for Road to CFP. And here's why. When I play some of these players online, you're going to play really good players, but a lot of the times, these players, some of them are trying to, run an offense that is very hot route intensive. And with the custom sim feature, it's very easy to make these quote unquote money plays, especially with how bad zone coverage played this year. It was just almost impossible to get stops on certain players, which, like I said, it is an offensive heavy game. But when you put the stadium polls feature in Road to CFP and a good player gets the home field advantage, it just seems almost impossible for the other player to even have a chance at that point. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I've had my fair share of Dynasty games where I feel like stadium polls was just an overwhelming advantage for the other player in terms of if they're running mid blitz 0 and they're hovering over the line and I can't make a hot route, then yeah, it gets a little frustrating and I feel kind of hopeless at times, even though I feel like I'm the better player. Now, home field advantage is supposed to give you an advantage. Like, it's literally just a thing in real life. Like, you're supposed to have an advantage for home field, but I don't think it should be at a point where it's being implemented into a ranked system like Road to CFP. I'm not a big fan of RNG being added in a ranked mode in any game, and I feel like this is kind of just another RNG factor. So we'll see how that is. I don't know. Like, if you read it loosely, it says, I got it pulled up here now. Experience enhanced stadium pulse effects, including a more intense camera shake, new heads-up display visuals, and clock distortion that simulates the high pressure of playing against a visitor in hostile territory. Rivalry games, the college football playoff, and other stakes matchups are now more affected by stadium pulse. When you're on the road, use your confidence and composure to help counteract the rattling environment. So we'll see. Like I said, it doesn't officially say it's going to be in Road to CFP, but I just keep hearing rumors that it is, and I really hope that's not the case. I really just can't fathom playing some of these players that I play online with stadium polls. I feel like I'm not going to enjoy that at all. I feel like both players should have an equal playing field in Road to CFP. And I feel like home field advantage and the stadium polls thing should be a Dynasty thing only. Which, by the way, another thing I wish they would add to Dynasty stadium polls, I wish they give you more customization options with the stadium polls. I think it's cool, the screen shakes and all that stuff in your route shake when you look at your play art. That's not a problem to me. I do think we should have an ability to tune down the audible part of the stadium polls, meaning that I feel like you should be able to make a hot route after 2 or 3 times. There'd be multiple times, I try to make a hot route 7 times and it just wouldn't go through. Which is fun that they have that in the game, but I also think they should add a feature where we can tune that down a little bit. But that's just my opinion. Outside of that, that's really the only thing I can read that I really care about on here as far as the gameplay goes. Road to Glory. You're not playing full high school games. Not a big fan of that. Now, I didn't play Road to Glory hardly at all in College Football 25. I used to absolutely love it in College Football 14, but I know there's a bunch of people that love Road to Glory, and I do think it's a little silly that you can't play full high school games, considering that it was a feature 11 years ago. So maybe we'll see how if they do choose to rework that at all. I doubt it, but Road to Glory should be pretty good though. As far as like outside of that, you know, improve transfer portal. You'll have like a signing day, cutscene and whatnot. So I mean, I think that's pretty cool. So overall, you know, what do I think about College Football 26 based on what I've read so far? I think they are looking at some of the right things, but something's just telling me that not every point that needs to be hit is going to be hit this year. I still haven't read anything about pursuit angles. Like I said, maybe I skimmed over it too fast and I didn't see certain stuff, but that's another thing that they really need to improve on top of the coverage and the blocking. As pursuit angles in this game in College Football 25 are probably some of the worst I've seen. There's just multiple times where even your highly rated player would just take a poor angle, and by the time you click on to that player to try to recover, it's just too late because they've already taken such a bad angle. I feel like that's going to be, if you want to make defense, like a defense actually legit in this game, I think they got to fix the pursuit angles, and I think the zone coverage needs to be improved. Outside of that, they really don't have to do too much. I do like the feature of adding the twist and stunts with the defensive line. But I think defense could easily be like fixed a little bit in this year's game, and I hope they do. I'm just not hopeful that everything big that needs to be touched on is going to get touched on with defense in next year's game based on what I'm reading. But they still got a little bit of time, I guess, so we'll see. I'm sure the game's pretty much completed now. I feel like now they're at the stage where they're just doing bug fixes and looking for glitches and whatnot. So I'm curious to see how it's going to play out. Obviously, we'll hear more here in a week or two about the full gameplay deep dive. So whenever that comes out, I'll hop on here and make another video, and I'll give y'all updates with what I see on that and give my opinion yet again. But that's going to do it for me, guys. I know I was a little all over the place, but I'm just glad I'm able to get a video out for y'all. And I do want to hear what y'all have to say about what y'all have read about next year's game and whether or not y'all agree or disagree with anything I said. Like I said, I don't care if y'all agree with me or not. I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion when it comes to this stuff. But if there's other things that I didn't touch on that y'all want to talk about in the comment section below, let me know. And I guess we'll just see where it goes from here. I'm really looking forward to the deep dive gameplay videos that'll come out here before long, and we'll cover that in detail and see where this game's heading. But I appreciate y'all for listening and watching the gameplay on here. Y'all be easy, man. Like I said, I stream about 3 times a week, so come hang out. Twitch.tv/SaucySock with 2Ks. Love to see y'all in there. Come in, chat it up. We all have a good time and just chill and just try to win some games on road to CFP. So that being said, I'm out of here, y'all. Y'all be easy, and I'll see y'all in the next video.